Hey, gorgeous people. Hope you're having a great day. And speaking about being reactive, who has ever felt reactive? Maybe you've had that moment and you're just like, what the hell happened? Like, it's almost like something comes in and takes over, and we find ourselves sometimes saying things or reacting in a way that later on we may end up feeling that we regret. We may say things that we didn't mean to others, but they kind of were spilling out, and it's kind of like there's another part of you watching yourself going, what the hell is going on? When these things happen, and also when we find it difficult to communicate, sometimes, it might be, hello, great to have you on here. Sometimes it might be, speaking up for yourself, and you notice that your voice gets stuck in your throat, or you think, I need to let somebody know this particular thing, or there's things going on, and you're finding it difficult to either A, find your words, or B, communicate in a way that's really, really effective, where you feel heard by the other person. And sometimes, this can bring up feelings of defensiveness. Hey, Erica, great to have you on, honey. This can bring up feelings of defensiveness. Sometimes we shut down, we withdraw, we say it doesn't matter, it's fine, don't worry about it. Like, who's resonating with that? Who has ever done that? I can put my hands up in the air a million times, because all of this stuff at the underlying level, what's actually going on is we are being triggered in that moment by an inner child wound. And what this actually means is that at some time in the past, when we were a child, we were told certain things, or we got in trouble for certain things. We lost love, we lost approval, or, at the extreme end, perhaps even were abused at times for certain behaviors. And this can be really, really difficult, because often that forms our subconscious programming, and it becomes the person or the persona of who we think that we are as we're growing up. And so often there can be a lot of stored anger, particularly if you felt like you didn't have a voice in your family, or it wasn't okay to speak up, or it wasn't okay to share your opinion. If you were parented by very authoritarian, controlling parents, that can sometimes show up. Or if your needs were invalidated, in terms of, and again, I say this with absolute love, and knowing that our parents were absolutely doing the best that they could at the time. And, even certainly for myself, it's, I know that at times, even though I was doing the best that I could at the time, I'm certain that there's things that obviously have impacted my girls over time. Certainly years ago, when I had a lot less conscious around parenting, and how our words actually can impact our children, even the energy that we feel about our child. And if you have judged yourself, or you've been judged by a parent or somebody else, an adult, a teacher, where they've made a particular part of you wrong because they've been shamed for it, so they've projected their shame onto you. Now you're going to project that shame onto your child unconsciously, unless you've actually done the inner child healing work. And it can be really, really painful work. When I say painful, there can be very, very big confronting emotions to actually not come up against, but to look at, to sit with, to not avoid, to not suppress, to not ignore, to not be too busy for, to not to push aside, to say, oh no, it doesn't really matter, like it's okay, it's all good. If you are in any form of pain, if you are in any form of state of disease or dis-ease, so joint pain, stomach pain, there's so many different ways that this can show up, or certainly, just a chronic fatigue or kind of unknown or mystery illnesses. Often it can be because of deep trauma that's actually held in the system. And this can be really, really difficult to really understand, or kind of we know that it's lurking there, and we may not have wanted to actually deal with that or to confront that. And the really challenging part is that our body is a beautiful messenger. Our body lets us know when something is off. Our body is always giving us messages. And if you do not stop and listen to the feather or the brick, you will end up having a Mack truck experience. And honestly, like it is really, really, really tough when we get to that type of experience. The feather and the brick are inconvenient or annoying, frustrating. That can be a broken ankle, that can be, something happening to maybe our collarbone or our wrist, or something that's still, frustrating and annoying, but not necessarily life changing and life stopping. But if you do not tune in and listen and do this inner work and stop and listen to hear what it is that your inner child is trying to communicate to you, if you keep suppressing her or pushing her down or him down and saying, no, it doesn't matter, like, then that message will get louder and louder. And in all the years of my work, certainly as a kinesiologist, I spent 6 years, really working with the deeper patterns that play out from mental and emotional, physical distress, and how that presents in the body and how that affects the body. And all of those things can really have a huge impact. And in my opinion, the inner child work is the deepest, most powerful work that we can do, and brings so much calm to our system. Often, it's our inability to be able to communicate, or feeling that, if we do speak up, we're going to get put in a room, or we're going to get roused on, or we'll lose approval. And honestly, the more sensitive you are, and, I'm saying this from a position of growing up with very, very loving, very, very supportive parents, and, they're human too. And so there's always moments, even, when we're showing up and we're being the best parent that we think that we possibly can be for our children, there's moments where we're human. There's moments where we get stressed, we get angry, or all of those things. And our parents, honestly, are no different. They're human as well. And in those moments, we need to come back and reparent those aspects of self. And for some people, unfortunately, they've gone through much greater challenges as a child, and experienced much greater heartache or aloneness or feelings of separation or isolation, or nobody's there to support them. And it's all of those things that can play out. And if those are thoughts that you have where you feel that you're not enough, you feel unsupported or unloved, or that nobody's there for you, or you're feeling all alone at times in life, I'm not saying you have to live there. Some people can be living there for sure, and that's a very painful place. And if you are, I definitely suggest you reach out. But we don't always have to be living there. But if you're finding that you're reactive, or that stuff's showing up for you, or you're finding it really difficult to communicate, particularly in intimate relationship, often this is where shame, guilt, all of those patterns can play out, and they really get in the way of communicating our needs effectively. So actually speaking up and saying what we want, even giving ourselves permission to ask for what we want, or to feel deserving enough to have what we want, can all be things that really, really play out at a really deep level. And that is why doing the inner child healing work, it's one of the things that I take certainly my clients through in the Thrive program, simply because it's so foundational, guys. And these things will keep haunting and, playing out for you unless you're actually willing to really sink into that, dig into that at a very, very deep level. And like I said, when this is taken care of, you will feel so much calmer in your system. And it's an ongoing process. I'm not going to say it's like a quick fix or a magic bullet, or it's like, just a quick process and it's all done. It is building a relationship with that part, with that aspect of yourself, because this is the part of ourself that holds us back from getting promotions. This is the part of ourself that feels timid or too scared to ask for what we want, or just like I said, communicating effectively in intimate relationship, where perhaps we take everything personally. We make it mean everything about us when our partner or somebody else close to us is having a challenge or going through something. Then we make it all about us. Well, I'm not enough and it's all my fault, and where we can kind of start to turn all of that stuff around. Like I said, it's an ongoing process, but once you actually have the skills and the tools, it is life-changing. And the best part about all of that is we no longer project that stuff onto our kids. So you get to have, when I say cleaner and energetically cleaner more fulfilling, more satisfying, wonderful, connected, loving relationship, honest, open, expansive relationship with your children that really can make a huge, powerful difference in their lives, or even your grandchildren, where, you know, we're not forcing our own opinions, we're not needing others to be a particular way so that we can feel calm, or so that we can be okay, in not needing to meddle in other people's stuff or take responsibility for their stuff. You can empower others to do that for themselves. There's just a truckload of things that come with this. So if this has been something that you really, really strongly resonate with, and you're looking to find out more, perhaps you have had some really big challenges growing up, or perhaps, you know, you experienced some deep trauma along the way, that really, you know, is holding you back, where you know it's lurking there, but it's, you know, something that you've avoided or not confronted within yourself, and you've got strong body messages going on, or not even that, like if you are suffering, and by suffering, you know, not living your greatest life, feeling emotionally down or sad or not enough or not deserving, where you're losing your confidence, or you're, you know, rattling into or unraveling into shame or guilt, any of those things, if you constantly feel guilty, if you constantly feel that you're not good enough, this stuff needs to be addressed, and it is the most loving, kindest thing that you can do for yourself in setting yourself free from that. So please reach out, let's have a chat, see where you're at, what you'd like to create instead, and if and how I might be able to help you. So send me a PM if that is you, or if that resonates. Otherwise, if there is somebody that you know that this might really resonate or could potentially really make a difference to and really help, please share this with them. Let's spread this word and really help people in so many ways. I literally just had one of my Thrive clients write a post the other day, and she mentioned, you know, and this is not to diss any other modalities or anything else, but this work is very, very specific, and something I've really looked at and worked with over the last 10 years. It's a compilation of all the most powerful tools and strategies that I've learned over that time, compounded together to support the body physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And she said she is just literally gobsmacked, and is totally blown away with the changes that she's getting in her life. She's 7 weeks into the program, she's 10 kilos down, you know, she's no longer drinking. There's just a whole bunch of changes, but better than that, you know, she's getting to resolve some of those deeply held beliefs that we can have that can be really, really painful as well. So send me a PM if that is you. Otherwise, please like, love, or share this with somebody that you care about. And you know, it's a great conversation to raise with your intimate partner as well. Certainly if they're open to growth or open to personal development, you know, sometimes even if not, it may be the pathway where they're like, you know, have some bigger realizations of what's going on. Because often, you know, when we're in some of the most challenging situations, particularly in intimate relationship, where, you know, there's stuff going on, often it's our 2-year-old, our 5-year-old, our 7-year-old self that is fighting with, you know, their 2-year-old, their 5-year-old, their 7-year-old self, and trying to get emotional regulation and to make logical sense. You know, often we can lose track of even what we're fighting about when the emotional stakes are so high, and each person is bringing their own wounding to that conversation, and often we can't see what's going on for the other person because we're so defensive or guarded with what's going on for us. So super important to take care of. Loads of love, guys. Bye for now.